Good evening and good afternoon and good day to everyone, and warmly welcome to our Arginine Live. This is Sakari Penttinen from Helsinki, and this is a launching Arginine Live for our Arginine Info. You are warmly welcome to our Arginine Info Live. This is the first time we are going live, and we are a family from Finland. We are discussing arginine amino acid and its health effects. So we are kind of product neutral. We don't endorse any arginine product. However, we do encourage you to use arginine supplements. And in this live, we are the recording. We are going to discuss a bit of arginine and its health effects. So you're warmly welcome to Arginine Live, and seems that we do have listeners here in line. That's fantastic. And I have some slides for you. So just a moment, we will go with the slides and share the screen. So here are Arginine slides. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going with arginine, the basics. Arginine is a central metabolic molecule. So we are talking about a amino acid. And arginine is often discussed as a nutritional supplement. Today, however, we are not discussing products. We are discussing arginine and its effects in physiology. And arginine functions as a central metabolic regulator. It supports circulation, immune activity, stress adaptation, and energy production. It is not a quick fix or stimulant, and it does not act instantly. Its role is more gradual and regulatory, supporting the body's natural balance over time. So, arginine has these metabolic foundations. In modern medicine, we often focus on measurable indicators like blood pressure, cholesterol, glucose. So these are outputs, but they do reflect deeper systems. So underneath those numbers are fundamental processes like circulation that must adapt, the immune system, it must respond, and the nervous system, it must balance stress and recovery. And of course, inside the cells, the mitochondria, they must produce energy. Arginine affects and intersects all these systems. So there's one molecule, arginine, but there are multiple systems. So arginine connects several major physiological systems, and it is mostly through nitric oxide production. Arginine influences the blood vessel tone. It affects immune cell activation. It contributes to autonomic balance between stress and recovery. It is also linked in the cellular level to mitochondrial energy production. So this integration makes arginine biologically interesting. And I have prepared some videos for you. We do have our artificially intelligent assistant Sally here. So just a moment, we are going to see what Sally is about.
Arginine is an amino acid, but it is far more than just a building block of protein. In the human body, arginine serves as a central metabolic regulator. One of its most important roles is acting as the precursor for nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a short-lived signaling molecule that relaxes blood vessels, regulates blood flow, and supports communication between cells. But arginine's functions extend beyond circulation. In the immune system, arginine is required for the activation and function of key immune cells. Without sufficient arginine, early immune responses become less effective. In the nervous system, nitric oxide derived from arginine helps regulate autonomic balance, the interaction between stress activation and recovery. Arginine is also closely linked to mitochondrial function. Mitochondria are the energy-producing units of our cells. When nitric oxide production is balanced, mitochondrial efficiency and cellular energy production are supported. What makes arginine unique is that it connects these systems. Circulation, immunity, stress regulation, and energy metabolism are not separate processes. Arginine sits at the intersection of all of them. Understanding arginine is therefore not about understanding one nutrient. It is about understanding how the body maintains balance under changing demands.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was our artificial intelligence assistant Sally. And we do continue with increased arginine demand. Just a moment. So sometimes there is increased arginine demand in the body. So arginine is continuously consumed in the body during exercise, physiological stress, infection, and aging. The demand increases. So body cannot store nitric oxide. It must be produced continuously. When the demand rises, that sufficient availability becomes important. When there's sufficient arginine in the body, in the system, the body adapts efficiently. So the blood vessels remain flexible, microcirculation supports oxygen delivery, recovery after exertion improves, immune responses activate appropriately. The key concept is adaptability. And again, we do have some information from Sally. So let's see a video about the adaptation of the body.
Circulation is not simply the movement of blood. It is a dynamic, constantly regulated system that adapts to the needs of tissues. When you exercise, experience stress, or even shift posture, your blood vessels must adjust. They widen or narrow in response to signals from the inner lining of the vessels, the endothelium. One of the most important signals produced by the endothelium is nitric oxide, and nitric oxide is produced from arginine. When arginine is available in sufficient amounts, nitric oxide allows the smooth muscle in vessel walls to relax. This process, called vasodilation, increases blood flow. More oxygen and nutrients reach tissues. Waste products are removed more efficiently. Microcirculation, the flow of blood through the smallest vessels, is especially dependent on this mechanism. If nitric oxide production is reduced, vessels become less responsive. Blood flow may become uneven or restricted. Over time, reduced vascular flexibility can contribute to fatigue, cold extremities, and increased blood pressure. Arginine does not force blood vessels open. Rather, it supports the body's natural ability to regulate vessel tone appropriately. Healthy circulation is not about constant dilation. It is about adaptability. And adaptability depends in part on sufficient arginine availability.
So that's Sally with some arginine info, arginine and nitric oxide. And let's go back to the slides. So if there is arginine deficiency, it usually means relative insufficiency and not total absence. So when the demand exceeds supply, the microcirculation becomes less efficient. So that means cold hands and feet. Oxygen delivery may decline, so recovery slows and one gets windy and tired more easily. Vascular flexibility can gradually decrease, so this usually develops over time, not suddenly. When the demand exceeds supply, modern life increases metabolic demand, so high workload, intense training, chronic stress, and repeated recovery cycles all require substrate, that means arginine. So if the internal production of arginine cannot keep pace, there may be some imbalance that develops. Let's see a video about this imbalance. And Sally again, just a moment.
If arginine is naturally present in the body, why consider supplementation? The answer lies in balance between demand and production. Arginine is continuously used to produce nitric oxide. During physical activity, immune activation, psychological stress, or inflammation, consumption increases. The body must constantly replenish its supply. At the same time, endogenous production of arginine, mainly through kidney metabolism, may decline with age. Chronic stress and metabolic disturbances can further reduce effective availability. This does not mean that arginine disappears. It means that relative insufficiency may develop when demand exceeds supply. Supplementation, when used appropriately, does not override the body's systems. It provides additional substrate for physiological processes that are already active. Importantly, arginine is not a rapid intervention. Many of its effects, particularly those involving vascular adaptation and liver metabolism, develop gradually over months. The goal of supplementation is not stimulation. It is restoration of metabolic balance under conditions where demand is persistently elevated. Arginine support makes physiological sense when the body's requirements consistently exceed its capacity to produce enough internally.
So that was Sally, and back to the live stream and back to the slides. So arginine in context, what happens? When you use arginine supplementation, when it's appropriate, it does not override the physiology, so it does not substitute the own production. It supports the processes that already are active, that already are there. The goal is not stimulation, It is restoration of balance when demand persistently exceeds production. So adaptation with arginine, it takes time. It's not quick fix or instant, and effects, they are gradual. And now I would like to show you a case example. This is my dear friend Suzanne, and this happened like 14 years ago. Susan was going through a massive exercise and weight loss, and she had quite a bit overtraining symptoms. However, arginine supplement restored her health, and I just spoke with Susan like 3 months ago. She's doing great using arginine as a supplement and doing exercise. So let's take a peek what happened to Suzanne in 2010s.
Suzanne is a 26-year-old woman who decided she was going to get in shape. She hired a personal trainer and lost 20 kilos, that's 45 pounds, in a reasonable amount of time. Suzanne was now physically fit, but she didn't feel good. She was tired, her training sessions felt forced, and her resting heart rate was elevated. Recovering from workouts was slow and painful. Training had become a disagreeable chore instead of something she enjoyed. Her doctor's diagnosis was overtraining syndrome, and Suzanne was told not to exercise. Suzanne stopped training, but thanks to her friend's suggestion, she also started taking arginine supplements. She recovered in just a few months. She was no longer tired, and she was again enjoying working out. Suzanne later told us that she had been born prematurely. The kidneys of premature babies are often less developed than those of full-term babies and can remain so even into adulthood. This causes the kidneys to produce less arginine, making it harder for those born prematurely to compensate for the arginine consumed in vigorous exercise. In Suzanne's case, the onset of her overtraining syndrome was hastened by her underlying arginine deficiency. Her fatigue and poor recovery were caused by poor microcirculation. Suzanne's muscles received much less oxygen because of her arginine deficiency. The arginine supplement thus helps Suzanne's body fix the problems caused by her kidneys' insufficient arginine production. Suzanne now takes arginine supplements regularly, feels well, and continues to exercise.
As you can see, there is a lot of information, and our family has worked about 30 years with arginine. So the main researcher here is my dad, Jyrki Penttinen, MD and PhD in medical sciences, and he has done own research and gone through tens of thousands peer-reviewed research articles, and we have worked with arginine like for 30 years. I myself, I have used arginine as supplement for 30 years now, so that is quite a bit. I could say if you find one person in the world who has used arginine as long as me on the daily basis, I congratulate you. So, and in Finland, we have published 3 books and a 5-part publication series called Arginine and Health. And the Arginine and Health series is also published in English. You have 5 parts, and it's found as ebooks in Amazon and Google Play. And here in Patreon, we are going to launch a video series and a podcast series based on the Arginine and Health publication series. And as a sneak peek, the first episode of the podcast series is already on air, so you can listen to it in Patreon. There are going to be paid tires, but at the moment, the Arginine info is free for all. So you are warmly welcome, and this is our launch. So now, please enjoy, listen to the podcast, and there are more episodes coming. And you are warmly welcome to ask your friends to join because it's free. We are going to have some paid tiers with Arginin Sports, Arginin, and other topics there too that are discussed more deeply. So for now, I thank all the watchers here and wish you a good evening. This was Arginin Live, and I hope to see you again. Bye.